Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. Glad to have you here. It's Dave with you. Hope you're doing well. Today I want to look in at a topic that I've been thinking about for the last few weeks, and just wanted to kind of put this out there and maybe spark a conversation with you and get your thoughts as well around the idea of confidence versus ego in podcasting. Is there room for confidence? Is there room for ego as a podcaster? And is one better than the other? I don't know. I would like to kind of put this out there and get your feedback as well. I want to share my thoughts here on the podcast. Welcome to episode 108 of the How to Podcast series. I'm really excited to be here with you. I hope you're doing well. Here we go. So as a podcaster, I'm always kind of wondering about that line between confidence and ego. And sometimes that line gets kind of blurred. Sometimes that line is hard to quantify. And is there an opportunity to have a mix of both confidence and ego as a podcaster? Is there room for both? Is there only room for one? Is one worse than the other? Is one better than the other? One thing I'm noticing as I listen to the gurus out there that have been around for a long time, there's a lot of awards being waved in our faces. There's a lot of I've been here since the beginning, so I'm the most knowledgeable about the subject. Yes, there's knowledge there. But I also know that in the places I've worked in the past, that the person that's been at the company the longest is not necessarily the one that has the most knowledge or the most effective. They might just have been there longer. But they've never really moved up. They've never really been challenged. They've never really been promoted. They've just kind of been there. So if being in a location for a long period of time makes you qualified, I struggle with that. And then the whole idea around awards and buying entrance into an award program, so you might win an award because you paid an X number of dollars to be there. I don't know if podcasting awards makes things better or worse. I'm still kind of wrestling with that, because I kind of feel like awards in that sense do kind of feed ego. And that ego doesn't always bring people to you. Confidence seems to bring people towards you. Ego seems to repel in some situations. So I wanted to kind of look at the difference between confidence and ego, because I believe that confidence is essential and it has to be nurtured. And confidence arises from having lived the experience, doing the research, and then demonstrating your competency. By living the experiences, doing the research, and demonstrating your competency, that's where confidence arises. Think of a new task that you learned at work. Think about learning to ride a bike, learning to drive a car. Confidence arises by living the experience, doing the research, and demonstrating competence. When you go for your driver's test, you have to demonstrate that you know how to drive a car. You can't just talk about it. You can't brag about it. You have to show. You have to do the thing in front of a tester and an instructor who then verifies that you have the ability to drive a car. And then you have the confidence, once that test is over and you've been handed a license, you have the confidence now to be a driver. So think of it in podcasting terms. You have lived the journey of starting a podcast. You've done your research. You've listened to podcasts. You've read books on podcasting. You've joined podcasting groups. You've done the thing. You've done the research. And now it's time to demonstrate your competency by getting on the microphone, recording episodes, and putting them out into the world. That's how you gain confidence in podcasting. Genuine confidence should be not be mistaken for ego. Ego surfaces when somebody believes that their past achievements automatically entitle them to greater opportunities. So because I've been in podcasting since insert date here, I should then be a speaker at a conference. Just because I've been around a long time and I've done this for a long time. That's ego. And that can be dangerous because there could be somebody with less experience, less time in podcasting, who has better advice, who has better insight, who is a better speaker, who is better at communicating, who has better engagement than the person who's been around for a long time, who thinks that because of their ego being inflated by awards and all those other things, that they should be the one speaking to the public about certain topic just because they've been here longer. And those people don't seem to do well in business, don't seem to do well in group settings. The person that's been there the longest is not always the best authority to share their knowledge with the world. So if you think, well, I've been on this stage, I was invited to this group, I should be now invited, because of that, I should now be invited to a bigger venue, a bigger stage, more people. That's ego. As I look at it, the danger for me as I look at confidence and ego in podcasting is the danger arises when confidence turns into ego. This occurs when expectations are set for others and specific results are demanded. When these expectations aren't met, it's easy to blame external factors and feel a sense of entitlement. To prevent this, you need to look inside. You need to look inwardly. Introspection is necessary. Ask yourself why you hold on to certain expectations for your podcast. Have you put in the necessary work beforehand? Or do you assume that if I hit the mic, hit record, then everything that I wanted in life is going to fall in my lap? Have you laid a solid foundation and paid your dues as a podcaster? If you're new, no, you haven't done it yet. You haven't got there yet. You don't have the confidence yet to demand what your ego is asking for you to demand. Reflecting on these questions will help identify if your ego is starting to creep in and grab a foothold in your podcast. While even the most accomplished podcasters may experience some bruised egos, it's essential not to let ego dictate our actions. Instead, view these moments as opportunities for self-improvement. Rather than placing blame on others or external circumstances, focus on what could have been done differently to ensure your success. I like to look inwardly. I like to self-analyze and consider how I can improve and grow. Confidence plays a vital role in podcasting. It drives progress, encourages assuming that the listeners will be there and the content will meet their needs, and it helps you to pursue opportunities to put yourself out there. Genuine confidence arises from knowledge and experience, not mere self-awareness. It's important to differentiate between confidence and ego. Ego emerges when expectations become entitlement and blame is placed externally. To maintain the right balance, reflect on your actions, consistently improve, and let confidence guide you without letting ego take the lead. So, Dave, what are you saying? What do you think? I think there's a healthy mixture of ego and confidence in podcasting. I think you need a little bit of both. But don't let ego get in front of confidence. Let your confidence come through the experiences, come through the things that you learn, come through the things that you've grown through from living those experiences, doing the research, and demonstrating your competency. That's where it comes from. It's a vital ingredient for progress. Without this, your podcast journey might falter. Let your confidence grow, keep your ego in check, and focus in on what you're learning, how you're growing, who you're becoming as a podcaster. And while you're doing it, let your audience join in with you on the journey. Your audience isn't expecting perfection. They're not expecting you to be super confident. They're not expecting you to be an egomaniac. They're expecting you to show up and connect with them and take them on a journey. And for that, you need a plan. You need help. You need somebody in your corner to help you and walk you along with that. And if you need help with that and you're looking for that person, I would love to help you. howtopodcast.ca is the website. And if you're saying, Dave, I want to talk about this more. Can we have some time together? I want to make sure that I'm on the right path in regards to my confidence and my ego. How can I do that? I would love to help you with that. howtopodcast.ca. And now for those here at the end with me, you are the ultimate amazing people here at How to Podcast. And I want to do something different now at the end of my podcast, and I'm asking for your help. Okay? Are you ready? I'm going to call it Podcaster's Corner. And what I'm going to do is put a question out to you, and I'm looking for you to respond via voicemail through my SpeakPipe on my website, howtopodcast.ca. Go there and click it and answer this question. And when you answer the question, also plug your podcast idea, plug your show. Tell everybody where we can find it, what your show is about, and then answer the question. You got 90 seconds, okay, to do all that. So please go in and do that. And so again, promote your show, tell us about your podcast, and then answer the question. And the question I want you to answer is, if you had only one call to action, CTA, at the end of your podcast, what would it be? You're only allowed to pick one. Again, answer the question over at howtopodcast.ca. Tell us about your show, and then answer this question. If I only had one call to action at the end of my podcast, like I'm doing right now, one CTA that I could do, what would it be and why? And I'm only allowed to have one, not 20. I'm only allowed to have one. Go to howtopodcast.ca, leave me a voice message, tell me the name of your show, and answer the question. If I only had one call to action, one CTA that I could do at the end of my show, this would be it, and this is the reason why. I would love to hear the answer. And what I'm going to do is bring your answers into the show and share them with the audience. So I'm really putting myself out there. I'm hoping to hear back from you, because it'll be pretty quiet if I don't get any responses. So I know you're out there. I know you're listening, and I truly appreciate it. Now it's time to hear your voice on the How to Podcast series. You have one call to action. What would it be and why? Tell us about your show. All of that at howtopodcast.ca. Use the SpeakPipe right there on the website. Hit record. Let's hear your amazing voice on the How to Podcast series. Thank you for being here. Keep that ego in check. Be confident. Get on the mic. Share your message with the world. Thanks for being here. Take care.